Hey everyone, welcome to another Good e-Reader comparison video. My name is Michael.
My name is Peter.
Today we have the Amazon Kindle Voyage versus the Kobo Aura. These are both 6-inch e-readers and they fairly reflect the most modern product line. Kobo does have a newer H2O, but it is 6.8 inches. Both of these are 6 inches. So if you're looking for a pocket-friendly e-reader, these are pretty well the two units that you're going to take a look at. Peter, let's take a look at the hardware.
The Kobo is over a year old now, so it lacks a lot of the cool features the Voyage has, which I'll mention in a second. Very plain front, no physical buttons, nothing of any kind really. Flush screen and bezel. They were really one of the first guys to do this before everyone else started to jump on the bandwagon. Top, we have a slider for power standby. We have a glow light button. Nothing on the left, nothing on the right. And on the bottom, we have a reset button, a micro USB, and a micro SD card slot, and nothing on the back. Although the back has this really cool textured design, and it actually doesn't leave a lot of fingerprints, unlike the Kindle Voyage that has quite a bit, because it's got this piano finish here. It's got a magnesium infused metal backing. We have a flush power button. Nothing on either side of the backs, left or right. Nothing on the top. The bottom has simply a micro USB cable, very well centered, nice and clean. And the front has these cool side buttons. They're not quite manual page turn buttons. They don't click down. They're flush with the screen and bezel, but they do turn pages forward and back. We also have an ambient light sensor in the top left corner.
This is the home screen of both e-readers. Really what happens with the Kobo is it's responsive UI, so depending on what book you open, depending on what function that you access, whether it's settings, whether it's the internet browser, all the different options here will change.
A lot of the tiles are different shapes as well too, so as you open more things, that'll move over there, that'll move over there. All kind of just jumbles together. It's really cool.
With Amazon, pretty well your home screen's your library, so you either have books that are on your device or books that are in the cloud. Say if you have the Kindle app for iPad or something like that and you download books to there, these are where purchases are stored. So because it doesn't have expandable memory, you can delete books on your device, but they retain the ability to be synced or downloaded at any time via the cloud. You have here the home, back, glow light button, the shop, search, and Goodreads. Goodreads is basically an online book club / social book community. With the Kobo, you have a home button here, which will bring you home depending on where you are in the e-reader. And then you have the settings button here, which shows you the bare essentials, Wi-Fi and everything like that. You have your deep settings menu, but you have your library here, which will show you articles from Pocket, which is read it later, collections, books. You have some extras here like reading stats and awards. So it's kind of gives you an indication on how far along in a book you are.
A little bit of an encouragement to read a lot more, to get the badges and all that.
Totally.
So we have a couple books here side by side. You can already notice that the Amazon has a more white on black feel, where this is more of like a stone gray on black. So this is a lot newer technology, so it's just had more time to refine itself. But in terms of the resolution, I find that on a 6-inch e-reader, it's not that noticeable that the resolution is, an extra couple hundred in height and extra couple hundred in width. You start to see more of that on larger screens, but what we're going to do here is max out the font settings, because a lot of people always say, what is the biggest font size you can go to? And what this will also show is the roundness of a lot of the curved letters. So, for example, now it really starts to get clear that the O's are a lot smoother, whereas everything's a little bit pixelated here. While we're in the font menus here, we have various different font settings, line spacing, margins, everything changes live. Along with the Kobo. Kobo has a lot more functionality because you have these slider bars rather than just 3 settings. You have just tens of levels and millions of combinations, really, of how to conform your book to the way you want it to look. Kobo also goes a step further into advanced, where you can change a bunch of the settings and it will show you what everything will look like before and after. Simply click apply to apply those settings.
In terms of notes, highlights, annotations, what are we looking at?
Let's highlight Knickerbocker. So what you get is highlight, add note. You can also search or share to social media. Amazon has always had the best highlight. It's so easy to do. Everything's
fast and responsive.
Yeah, you don't have to go to that secondary pen to highlight or take a note like Kobo does. It just has everything already there, so you can auto make a highlight. You can make a note simply. Oh, there we go. So you have add note, translation, open dictionary, report content error. Report content error is pretty cool because if someone writes something incorrectly, you can actually report it to the individual author and they'll fix it for you. The Amazon has a conventional QWERTY layout where the Q, W, R, T, Y is staggered in relation to the other letters, whereas this is a little bit unconventional because it's stacked, it's gridded, and that's not going to be as natural when you type. Although, how much time do you spend typing on an e-reader, really?
Yeah, the one thing that's really noticeable with the Kobo is that they have numbers at the very top. So if you're entering Wi-Fi passwords or if you're doing things like that, it makes it a little bit easier.
Right.
Because it's just right on the main keyboard.
You don't have to get to the secondary characters, whereas the Kindle does have predictive text. As you type things, it will show up suggestions and whatnot. So those are the keyboards. Amazon also goes a huge step further with this, and this is probably one of the coolest features I found on an e-reader ever since the Paperwhite. You have translation, so you can translate any language to any language you see on this drop-down menu, even to complex characters like Chinese, Japanese, and so forth. That is really cool because it breaks down those boundaries that even if you can't read a book in this language, you can just translate it. The whole book.
Kobo has some functionality here. Dictionaries, reading settings. You could actually rate a review right on the book. Some books have like a social media function that basically tell you a little bit about the book, the author, expanded reading. If you like this book, check these books out. But it's called Beyond the Book, but a lot of books don't even have that functionality into it. Whereas with Amazon, they have a feature called X-Ray, and this is in like 90% of all their titles, and it's something that the company is heavily invested in. I think it's a little bit better than Beyond the Book because it tells you the people, places, things, locations in a story. It tells you all about the main characters. So if you're coming back to a book, maybe about, if you're juggling many books at the same time, or if you start, like, say, reading The Goldfinch, and it's like, okay, this is hard. I'm going to come back to it in about a month. I
forgot everything.
Yeah, you can get, like, caught up on, like, who all the characters are, what their story arc is. Yeah. And it's hella cool. I mean, I really like it. In conjunction with Goodreads, too, it allows you to talk about the books that you've just read or the books that you love with other book lovers, whereas Kobo mainly makes this like a solitary reading experience. Let's take a look at PDFs.
We shall do that. PDFs are it's the most common format for devices to utilize because although this runs Mobi, this runs EPUB, certain devices run this and that, everything will read PDF. So this is the default PDF experience. You'll see that they kind of justify this to the top left corner for no reason at all. So a couple double taps should clear you of that once it registers. The Kobo has never really been that great with PDFs, large PDFs, I'll mind you. Same with the Paperwhites, have never been that great with PDFs because of the lack of RAM. So we'll just do some pinch and zooms here just to show you. We have a mini map on the top left corner to show you where you are. We'll let go right there. Takes a second to render, but once it does, you're good to go. You'll see that you have a even mix of text and pictures, so we'll try to do some long presses. Nothing works on there. We'll try to do some long presses. Nothing works on there. We'll double tap out. and you'll see that now you get long press capabilities on the Amazon Kindle, and guess what? Even in a PDF, you get translation. It's absolutely phenomenal how they allow you to do that, even on a PDF. So that's cool.
Yeah, so pretty well the Voyage has PDF editing, but only when you're completely zoomed out.
Right.
Whereas the Kobo really doesn't.
No, and
okay,
the page turns are rather slow as well.
let's look at an image on a PDF document.
If I can get there.
And check out, you know...
Max it out.
Yeah,
There
the
we go.
resolution, everything like that.
So we gotta wait for it to render. So you can see the black's rich, very rich. This looks like someone washed it with Clorox. It's kind of faded, so you can really tell the difference in just screen quality and resolution. I just kind of like, I mean, I was looking at this picture, but now I'm really assessing it. This guy's freaking gross.
Yeah.
Look at his hand, it's dripping with worms.
It's his. I think he's a worm wraith.
Yeah.
Or a larva mage.
Even worse.
Okay, well, what about churning pages in a PDF?
Yeah,
you see with the
pretty
Voyage,
slow.
it's like, it's pretty quick.
I think I've double. Yeah, see, there we go. Yeah, the Kindle has really refined itself from the PDF experience on the Paperwhite, because the Paperwhite was very poor, and the Voyage really seemed to solve a lot of those issues.
These e-readers do have glow light technologies and we're complete darkness. The glow lights on both of them are cranked out onto max. A preliminary analysis, when you're reading it at the max brightness level, the Kindle Voyage, I think, is doing a pretty good job. The text is black. It's clearly defined, good contrast, whereas with the Kobo Aura, the blacks are not as pronounced. They almost look a little bit washed out.
I'd say so as well, and this has to do with the even light distribution on the Amazon Kindle Voyage. It's rather impressive the way they just edge to edge perfect.
All right, so let's just look at the different illumination settings here. So we have it at about half. This is pretty well when you're reading complete darkness. How might you go?
It's starting to get really dark. The Kobo Aura as well starts to get very close to unreadable depending on how much light is in the room. A lot of people have light from underneath their doorways and light from the crack of their window, and that does make a difference in the room.
Or your nightlight.
Yep, but in complete darkness, it does start to get a little bit unreadable when you go all the way down. So make sure you find that preferable level. Everyone will be different based on your eyes and how much light bother you and all that kind of stuff.
Kobo and Amazon are two of the largest ebook and e-reader companies in the world. They have the largest market share. I think Amazon has more power when it comes to ebooks. 75% of all ebook sales in North America stem from Amazon. So they are the dominant player in North America, which includes Canada as well. But both of these companies do really well overseas. It comes down to it that both of these are pocket friendly. The resolution is fairly comparable, but Amazon does edge it out, and that's very pronounced with the fonts cranked up to max, as well as the images looking really good, despite the fact that that image was pretty terrible looking. You've heard our thoughts. We want to hear yours. Drop a comment on this video and let us know what you think. What one, if you had to decide which one you would buy, which one would you purchase, and let us know the reasons why. For a comparison of the Amazon Kindle Voyage and the Kobo Aura, my name is Michael.
My name is Peter.
Everybody take care.